Good day, here are today's top stories from the Pna Headlines. The Philippines has joined the rest of the world in paying tribute to Pope Francis after the pontiff died on Monday. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. led the country in expressing condolences, while the Catholic Church in the country remembered the Holy Father's lessons and legacy. RB Abaracoso has a story.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. joined the nation in mourning the death of Pope Francis on Monday. On the sidelines of a meeting in Malacanang, Marcos expressed his love for Pope Francis and referred to him as the best pope in his lifetime. The president also praised Pope Francis in a statement on social media, saying that he led not only with wisdom but with a heart open to all, especially the poor and the forgotten. He highlighted the Holy Father's humility and his example of being a good Christian by extending kindness and care to one another. For his part, Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines President Pablo Virgilio Cardinal David asked bishops to ring the bells of churches for the eternal repose of Pope Francis. He also called on the people to pray for the soul of the Holy Father. Archdioceses across the country also expressed their sympathy for the death of Pope Francis. The Archdiocese of Cebu invites all the lay faithful, clergy, and religious to offer prayers and masses for the eternal repose of the Holy Father's soul. Archbishop Socrates Villegas of the Archdiocese of Lingayen Dagupan reminisced that time Pope Francis visited the Philippines in January 2015, saying his presence made Filipinos feel that Jesus was with the people. The Leyte Archdiocese thanked Pope Francis for giving hope to the people of Leyte when he held an emotional outdoor mass for the victims of Typhoon Yolanda in 2015. The Palo Archdiocese called to mind Pope Francis' words that Jesus Christ carried all our pain and sorrow in his passion. Meanwhile, Antipolo Bishop Ruperto Santos called on the faithful to live what the Holy Father has shown and shared through his teaching and shepherding. Pope Francis, born Jorge Mario Bergoglio in Argentina, was the first Latin American pope and the first Jesuit to hold the post. As the leader of the Catholic Church for 12 years, he was widely admired for his humility, his progressive policies, his deep concern for the poor and marginalized, and his advocacy of peace. For Pna Headlines, I am RB Abaracoso.
Pope Francis will be laid to rest at the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore according to the Pontiff's final testament released by the Vatican. In the statement dated June 29, 2022, the Pope asked to be buried between the Pauline Chapel and the Sforza Chapel of the Basilica. He had also asked to be buried in a simple tomb inscribed with the word Franciscus, the name he adopted as Pope. Meanwhile, the Pope's coffin might be moved by Wednesday to St. Peter's Basilica, where the faithful await to pay their respects. The Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore is one of the 4 papal basilicas, as well as one of the 7 pilgrim churches of Rome. Pope Francis, who died Monday at the age of 88, will be buried, where 7 other popes have been laid to rest. The pontiff, a devotee of the Blessed Virgin Mary, was known to frequently visit Santa Maria Maggiore before leaving on trips abroad and upon his return to Rome. He recently prayed to the icon of the Virgin Mary enshrined there on April 12 to mark the beginning of the Holy Week. Earlier, a Vatican doctor confirmed that Pope Francis died of a stroke and irreversible heart failure. Professor Andrea Arcangeli, director of the Directorate of Health and Hygiene of Vatican City State cited the Pope's death certificate released on Monday, stating that the Pope had fallen into a coma before his death. Arcangeli said Pope Francis had also suffered from a previous episode of acute respiratory failure in the context of bilateral multimicrobial pneumonia, multiple bronchiectasis, high blood pressure, and diabetes. The Pope was hospitalized last February due to respiratory complications. The Vatican said the funeral for the Pope is expected to take place sometime between Friday and Sunday. In other news, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has signed a law requiring the proper and immediate burial of deceased Muslims in accordance with Islamic rites. According to Republic Act 12160, it is the policy of the state to recognize and respect the right of Filipino Muslims to bury their dead in accordance with their religious customs and beliefs, particularly before the next call to prayer. Under the new law, Muslim burials must be done as soon as possible or within 24 hours. The Muslim's death should be reported by the person who performed the burial rites or by the next of kin of the deceased within 14 days after burial. The burial will then be reported to the local health officer or the office of the mayor for the issuance of the death certificate and to certify the cause of death. In case of forensic interest, the family of the deceased must be informed before law enforcement authorities handling the case can conduct an examination. Muslim cadavers must be released from custody within 24 hours by the hospital, morgue, funeral parlor, or other similar facilities. The cadaver cannot be withheld in spite of non-payment of hospital bills, medical expenses, professional fees, or any other charges. The National Task Force West Philippine Sea asserted anew the Philippines' sovereign rights and jurisdiction in the country's exclusive economic zone following its recent regular rotation and resupply mission to Ayungin Shoal last month. In a statement, the NTF-WPS Area Task Force West denied China's claims that the Philippines sought its permission to hold its regular resupply mission for the contingent manning the BRP Sierra Madre on March 4. The NTF-WPS said China's claim is a blatant disinformation attempt to undermine Philippine sovereignty and mislead the international community. It stressed that Ayungin Shoal is within the Philippines' EEZ and continental shelf, as affirmed by the 2016 Arbitral Award. The task force also emphasized that Manila does not recognize Beijing's authority over Ayungin Shoal. Meanwhile, the armed forces of the Philippines defended the patrol activities of offshore patrol vessel BRP Apolinario Mabini in Bajo de Masinloc. AFP spokesperson Colonel Francel Margaret Padilla said the Navy's actions are consistent with local and international laws. Padilla also asserted the Philippines' sovereignty over the shoal and its territorial sea. Beijing previously claimed to have driven away the Filipino naval craft for allegedly intruding on Huangyan Dao, China's name for Bajo de Masinloc. In our business news, the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, has announced that it seeks to establish more international partnerships to advance technical vocational education and training. Last month, TESDA participated in the 2025 Philippine Nuclear Energy Mission to Canada to explore opportunities within Canada's nuclear industry. A TESDA delegation engaged its Chinese counterparts on industry-led curriculum development, dual training systems, digital platforms for skills training, and national qualification frameworks. TESDA officials also participated in the Hanover MESS 2025, an annual technology fair in Hanover, Germany, from March 25 to April 2. TESDA meanwhile cited its partnership on vocational education and training with the Ministry for Innovation and Technology of Hungary, as well as the planned collaboration with the Ministry of Labor and Vocational Training of the Kingdom of Cambodia. It said they also made partnerships with multinational companies in preparation for the World Skills ASEAN Manila 2025. Meanwhile, Philco Food Processing, a unit of Thai World Group of companies, is investing more than 1 billion pesos for a coconut processing facility within the Fividec Industrial Estate in Tagoloan Town, Misamis Oriental Province. The Philippine Economic Zone Authority said Philco plans to start the construction in October this year, while commercial operations would start between December 2025 and January 2026. PESA said the facility's output will be exported to Thailand, Europe, and the United States. The food processing facility is expected to create some 2,500 jobs for coconut farmers in northern Mindanao and nearby provinces. The factory will be producing 78,000 tons of ultra-high temperature coconut milk and frozen coconut meat annually. And that's the latest and the biggest stories on the Pna Headlines. For more news updates, visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The Pna Headlines is also streamed via the Servicio Facebook page. You may also watch the Pna Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under PNA News. I am Marita Muay. This is the Pna Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.